Welcome back to the Remix Teachers Podcast. I'm Paul Devoto.
And I'm Cristina López. This podcast is for teachers who are curious about using AI, but also deeply protective of their classrooms. Teachers who want to explore new tools while protecting the relationships and the classroom culture that they worked so hard to build.
In each episode, we look at what's happening in the world of AI in education, reflect on how it's actually showing up in our classroom, and share ideas that help teachers create structure, belonging, and confidence to do it themselves.
We're really glad you're here. Let's get into today's conversation. Before we dive in, we just want to pause and say thank you. The positive response that we've gotten from the first few videos and our first podcast has meant so much to us. We've received messages from colleagues, friends, and family members with thoughtful feedback, meaningful questions, and just overall support.
It's been especially meaningful to us to hear from colleagues that we work with and those in our district, as well as those that we know so well and know us so well. It just reminds us that the work that we're doing is connected to real classrooms and real people. And it's the reason why we got into this in the first place.
So let's shift into our next segment. This is the part where we zoom out a bit and take a bird's eye view
or a bird's AI view.
Yeah, that's right. You haven't talked about that in a while. You have to explain. Give the people a story.
Sure. So I think it was 2 summers ago, my wife Sierra and I were in Sacramento for a little anniversary reunion we always do, and we were brainstorming names for Remix Teachers before we had Remix Teachers. And we were trying to come up with something that had AI in the title. And she came up with Bird's AI View. And at first we were going to go with that because we thought, okay, it's like a bird's eye view of the classroom. You're looking at it holistically and thinking, how do all the parts incorporate AI while being mindful of what matters most?
Totally.
Maybe that could be the name of this segment.
So the part where we share research or theory could be Bird's AI View.
Cool.
Love it.
Let's do it.
You saw it here first, people.
So what was next?
Oh yeah, you interrupted me. just kidding. Okay, so officially now, Bird's AI View section is where we zoom out and take a look at what people are saying and studying about AI in education and trying to make sense of what it means for teachers in their classrooms.
Cool. So today we're going to be reacting to a quote from Ethan Mollick. And he is a professor at Wharton University. He's a leading expert in artificial intelligence. I'm going to read this because I don't want to mess it up. He's a leading expert on artificial intelligence, innovation, and the impact that they have on work and education. He wrote a book called Co-Intelligence, Living and Working with AI, which I have read. I actually listened to the audiobook, and it's really, really great. It helped me to get a much deeper understanding, not only of how AI works, but how I should think of it as a working partner. So I highly recommend.
Yeah, I have to check. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, so add that to your book list.
For sure.
Okay, so here is a little portion that I want to read that I think highlights an optimistic, empowering vision for teachers.
All right.
Teachers know their own environment. And so when I think of that, I think of their students, the population, the school culture. One of the failings of ed tech overall has been that we build large-scale solutions that aren't customized to teachers' needs and have to trickle down from above. What's really exciting about AI is that instructors who know their own environment have the ability to build their own sets of tools or modified tools that are responsive to their environment. So to their students, to their class, customized. Instead of taking away authority and making it more to do, it's about giving yourself authority and control in a way that we've never had before, democratizing access to education technology. And so what really resonated with me is this idea of authority and empowerment. As the teacher, AI is a tool that pretty much can extend your thinking, give you ideas, be a thought partner, and just help you in almost as many ways as you can think of. And so you can use it to create content and help you solve problems to address the needs of your students in your environment. And I think that's one of the core messages I want us to get across with this channel and Remix Teachers, is to help teachers see how powerful AI can be as an assistant, as a helper, as your friend that can help you accomplish even more greatness in the classroom.
Yeah, I think that for me, listening to the piece of how in the past, ed tech is always top down. And because, just as you're saying, you get to identify which tools you want to adapt or modify. I mean, we do that all the time. We're constantly adapting and modifying lessons for specific students or year by year as our classes change and the student demographics change. But this idea of being able to make the tools work for us instead of having the tools sent down to us, we're really getting to be a part of the whole process.
And if somebody is out there in our audience listening right now and they're wondering, what are some ways I can leverage this and that would be empowering? They can check out our second video, the AI Classroom Compass, where we give 12 different ideas for how you can incorporate AI in ways that bring more connection, belonging, and meaning to your students.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Is that what you were going to say?
I was just thinking about that. No, seriously, because as they were talking about modifying and adapting, I instantly thought of tailoring, like the spoke on our compass, AI Classroom Compass, of the tailoring, because that's the point of it, right? And so our AI Classroom Compass is really just honoring everything that is being talked about in this quote and giving the authority of what you were mentioning back to the teachers.
Yeah.
And so being able to select and decide what you want to plan for, what you want to modify, what you want to tailor, all those things are so powerful. Okay, let's bring it back to the kids and the classroom. In our last episode, you shared a way that you were using AI to create guided meditations for the students. And I left our conversation feeling so inspired and motivated that I actually gave it a try.
I'm so excited that you did that.
Thanks.
And I'm really excited for you to share to our audience how you tailored it specifically to an academic activity you were doing, because I think it was brilliant and a great use of AI. And for those of you out there, if you're interested in doing the same activity with your students and you would like to get the prompt for this guided meditation that we've curated over time, please sign up at remixteachers.com for our free newsletter and you can get that.
Yeah. So we had just started a new informational writing unit about beavers. And so I tailored the meditation to reflect the habitat of the beavers and even included certain beaver traits into it too. So it was a perfect segue into writing that day. And the kids were so excited because it was surprising to them that there was that connection between writing and science and regulation practices like this guided meditation. So thank you for that. That was amazing.
Well, that was your idea to tie it in with the beavers. So quick question. Had they already started the writing unit about beavers before the guided meditation?
Before, yes, but it was kind of like an additional hook. Like we were really at the beginning stages.
Okay.
Yeah. So we just had talked about the different types of writing. And I mentioned that we were going to do informational writing. We had watched a couple of videos and read a book, but it kind of acted as an additional hook and interest into the topic of beavers specifically.
Did any of the kids in the middle of the meditation, once you mentioned beavers, like impulsively say, "Oh, it's about beavers"?
Honestly, thank you for asking me that because I was expecting that. I kind of was ready for them to lose their focus, but they didn't. They were sitting there smiling, but no one opened their eyes, no one said anything. And so that's honestly based on the way that you've introduced the structure and the expectations of how they should be. It was amazing.
Nice.
Afterwards, once we were done, they were like, "That was so cool. It was connected to our beavers." So I'm like, yeah, I did that. That was intentional.
Connecting back to the AI Classroom Compass, not only were you tailoring it to the specific activities that you were going to do in writing that day, but it also was, planning because you had planned it ahead of time, I imagine.
Exactly. And that was the goal. I was trying to find a way to connect those topics, the science and writing, while doing something that was new to me.
This reminds me of the quote we just read from Ethan Mollick, where he was talking about your environment and your students, and you can use AI to really customize and tailor experiences for them. And that's what you did.
Exactly.
Good job,
and I was
Christina.
so excited. Thanks. I shared with the team too. And it's just so fun to try something new. So thank you.
Well done.
Another classroom moment we want to highlight comes from one of our newest videos where you have the students recreate the image.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, do you want to walk us through how you do that?
Yeah, that one was so fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for the idea, by the way.
You're welcome. Thanks, TikTok.
Yeah, Christina had seen this teacher show his students an image and projected it on the screen, and they had to try to recreate it using AI. So I thought, that sounds like a fun experiment. And I did that. So I found a cool image, very detailed, projected it on the screen, gave the students time to look at it, analyze, notice as many details as they could, and then work as a team to try to recreate it using ChatGPT. And it took multiple iterations, and through the process, it revealed to be so much more than just this little AI art generation activity. It turned into an activity that highlighted teamwork, collaboration, common goal, and so much academic sharing. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and if you haven't seen the video, then please take a look. It's on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, I think that you'll be inspired to give it a try yourself.
And then we've done it a couple times since.
Yeah, honestly, it's the gift that keeps on giving. There's so much value to it.
Especially because now when they know we're going to do that activity and we turn them to their desks to write on paper, they don't want to stop writing.
No, and I'm still motivated and determined to try to do it with our staff. I think it'd be really cool as a staff activity.
I shared this idea with my brother-in-law, and he works at a bank, and he was saying that he would like to do it with his team.
So cool.
Yeah.
This brings us to our next segment, which is all about AI literacy. You and I have both shared that we feel strongly that students should know what AI is, how to use it at basic levels, and the responsible use cases for it when engaging with AI in their academics. And we want to make sure that it makes sense for students. It's easy for them to understand.
One way that I like to explain to students how AI works, because a lot of times they think it's just like a Google search and it's going and retrieving information that's already been written and just giving it to you. That's not how it works at all. I explain it by saying, if two different students go up to a teacher and ask the same question on 2 different days, it's unlikely the teacher is going to give the exact same answer. It might be a little different based on the student, what the student knows, their needs, just how the teacher is feeling at the time, and just how the teacher thinks through that idea. Well, AI is just like that. AI will go and it retrieves information connected and related to your question. And so depending on how you ask the question and the context you give it, it can give a different answer each time. And I think that's important for adults to know too. A lot of adults don't realize that if you ask the exact same question 2 different times, even back to back, to your same large language model like Gemini or ChatGPT, that the answer it gives you can be different. It usually is.
Yeah, I definitely think that that is new for some people.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that it's not, working correctly or that it's wrong. That's just how AI works. It works like a human brain in that way.
And that distinction matters so much for students because they need to be aware that that's a possibility and that they're really going to have to turn on their critical thinking skills and look and check for understanding and check for correction, because the answer might differ. It might be wrong.
Absolutely. And I think knowing that the answer can always be a little different really puts the responsibility on the student to read what it says, consider if it makes sense, and possibly cross-check the information depending on what it is that they're having it generate.
And that's when teachers come into the conversation, because we are skilled, and those are our professional skills, and knowing how to facilitate those conversations to talk about integrity and editing and looking at your work and seeing where you need to grow. And
how to use your critical thinking skills to analyze information. And I think that's going to be even more important moving forward into this AI world, especially as kids learn to navigate what is real information and what is AI generated, because we can already see in social media and in the news people trying to use fake AI information to persuade people to believe things that aren't true. So being able to differentiate between what is correct, what is true, what's a valid source, and what isn't is going to be so important moving forward.
That distinction between AI as a tool and not AI as a source of truth.
And so along these lines of AI literacy, Christina and I are very excited to share that we've started creating mini lessons to be super easy for teachers to use, just plug and play. So imagine a 10-minute video that has prompts for teacher to pause here, have the students discuss this question, and then a little activity that might require 1 or 2 worksheets to print out. And the goal is for students to develop AI literacy knowledge about what AI is, how it works, how it can be biased or make mistakes, and how they can use it responsibly. And we think that the teachers who actually are delivering these lessons will be learning those skills along with their students, since most of us don't know this unless you seek it out yourself. So we think it's going to be something that is very helpful for you and for other teachers. And if you are a primary teacher, since that's where we're starting, pre-K, kindergarten, first and second grade, if you're a teacher of those grade levels and you want to beta test any of these lessons, please leave a comment below letting us know, and we'll reach out to you, and we'd love for you to test it out and give us your feedback.
Before we wrap up, I thought it would be fun to share a little bit about the beginning of the year and how you and I started the school year off together for the first 7 full days. And I remember not being sure how it was going to feel, but just knowing that it was really important and it mattered.
Yeah, well, I think you and I, since we had taught together in the previous year, I knew it was going to be easy and it'll be more fun because we can bounce ideas off each other. But when you start a new year, you are a little typically rusty, right? And you're responsible for getting the kids to learn the routines and procedures and expectations. You're entertaining them. You're in charge. Like, there's so much you're responsible for, and you're also trying to observe them and see who are they good with and maybe who should they be away from. And it is a lot to manage, and it's really exhausting. So doing it at the beginning of the year together just made it so much easier because we had 2 people, right?
Absolutely. Noticing the dynamics, feeling the vibes, seeing which students need what in order to be successful. But I think the challenging part was, like, definitely, like you said, it wasn't going to be hard to know how you and I were going to be in terms of how we run our classroom, but we were basing it off of how we run our classroom mid to the end of the year, not starting the year off. And so there are certain things that each teacher does that's specific to them that they've been used to over the years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we really did spend a lot of time the week before dialing in every single procedure and routine. I
It would be like, how do you do this? This is how I do it. How do you do it? And then finding compromises like, well, I really like doing it this way, and being willing to try new things.
And you ended up rearranging a lot of your classroom. So for those that don't know, you might be able to guess just by looking at how beautiful this room is, but this was Christina's room previously, and I moved into it. And there's a couple of my things around, very sparse, but I did have some input on the arrangement of the room and the furniture, and we both really like how everything is laid out now.
Yeah, I love it. And I have moved things around in this classroom so many times. It's one of my favorite things to do, but this arrangement is really great. I love it.
My wife Sierra loves doing that at home too.
Yeah.
It's like the arrangement and having a fresh start and seeing new perspectives. It's fun. It gives new life to it. But yeah, I feel like it really it forced us and allowed us to get really granular with how we are going to run the classroom and get the alignment before the year started.
Yeah.
So that we were very clear with the kids from day one.
And also for them to know that there wasn't going to be an issue of like, oh, when Mr. Devoto is here, we get to do
That's
this.
right.
And when Miss Lopez is here, like, no, they knew that our expectations were going to be the same and we were going to hold the line. And that was so helpful. And also, I think just a fresh new start and hearing and seeing the perspective of someone else. Like, I learned so much from you watching. I mean, we bounced back and forth between who taught, but I just learned so much from you. And it was so helpful. It was like having a mentor teacher there with me. And I think we don't get that enough as teachers. It's really, when you think about everyone starting the school year, you're in your own silo and you rarely get to see someone else do it unless you're doing an induction program when you're watching a mentor teacher or you have a student teacher.
Yeah, the best experience I ever had to this day teaching was with my friend Steve Moses. We taught middle school math in Sacramento, And we basically brought our two classes together in this empty, huge science lab room.
So,
Yeah, and we want to really cover everything that we possibly can. So, classroom management that's, fun for the kids, that really empowers them with high expectations, but at the same time, disciplining and working in ways that are caring and respectful. Sharing best teaching practices, which is nothing that we've invented, but when I was learning about wait time or when I was learning about using dry erase boards, sometimes I just had to figure it out on my own. Maybe I'd have some friends that had used those strategies before, but sometimes, you learn by reading a paragraph. This is a good strategy. You try it, it doesn't work very well, but you can see the potential, you reflect, you modify, you try it again. Oh, it works better this way. And then over time, you really get it down. So we want to share the best practices that we know as teachers. And also the new ways that we're trying to integrate technology to really empower the kids.
and hoping with this experiment we'll create is a little research on our own with these strategies and using them in this situation with 55 students, 2 teachers, but having a place where teachers can go and use these resources and, like Paul said, modify for their own benefit and whatever they might want to do to change it up or keep what they like.
Mm-hmm. So we want to share everything that we do. We want to be an open book, partially because both Steve and myself, at times, we've wished that we've been able to share what we're doing because we have a connected world, and why not share and connect what we're doing? Why does it have to stay in our classroom or, at best, our school?
I think that the resources with the technology and the opportunities we have at our school and what we can do for these 55 kids, 60 kids, and ourselves as professionals, we can spread that to other students and other teachers and other sites.
Yeah, I'm always, scouring the net for new innovative ideas, and I learn so much from other people that I'd never met in my life. So it's just kind of doing our part.
And did like what you and I did those first 7 days, but we did it every day. And I think because of how much I learned from him and how fun it was, it actually gave me permission to ask you to do this together.
If you would like to watch the Recreate the Image video that we referenced in this podcast, you can click on it right here.
And if you missed our first podcast episode and would like to watch that, check that out here. Thank you so much for joining us today.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Not again.